From Nampa, it's just a 30-minute drive to the state capital, Boise. Founded in 1863 to serve as the capital of the newly formed Idaho Territory, Boise stayed Idaho's capital when the state was admitted to the Union in 1890 as our 43rd state. It was around the same time that the gold and silver mines of California and Nevada dried up, and miners from those states flooded into Idaho, prompting a new gold rush that surpassed even that of California's, paving the way for the development of the city we see today. Today, Boise is one of America's fastest growing cities, rapidly becoming a hub for electronics and semiconductor firms. But its mass influx of Californians coming to escape liberal policies has also led to rising rent costs. There are actually a few different stories as to how the town got its French-sounding name. Americans pronounce it Boise, but in French it's actually pronounced Boise. And one story goes that there was actually a U.S. Army captain being led by a French guide. After being in the desert for several weeks, the French guide looked below and saw forest for the first time, and in his excitement yelled, "Le bois, the woods." And another version says that the name is derived from the Rivière Boise, which is French for wooded river, given by early French Canadian fur trappers. To jest Basque Block. Boise is also noteworthy for having the largest Basque community in the U.S., numbering between 10 to 15,000, whose ancestors arrived here in the 1890s with little money and education to fill much-needed jobs in the shepherd industry. As the sheep population grew, so did the Basque one, and unlike in Jordan Valley, where we were yesterday, here the Basque community has actually strongly preserved their unique language, customs, culture, and traditions, opening several Basque markets, businesses, restaurants, a museum and cultural center, and in fact, every 5 years in the summer, they also hold a massive week-long festival honoring their heritage. In the epicenter of it is this neighborhood right here known as Basque Block. Before establishing themselves permanently, they lived in shared boarding houses such as this one, ran by a Basque couple, Jose and Hermenegilda Uberuga. Purchased it in 1917. Initially, though, it was the home of American pioneer Cyrus Jacobs, a merchant, entrepreneur, and politician who was instrumental in the founding of and growth of Boise. It's also noteworthy for being the oldest surviving brick structure in Boise. Yeah. Okay, well, apparently this is a car street. Oh, well, have a look at this. This is Boise's famous Freak Alley. Since Colby actors painted the very first mural on the back of a restaurant in 2002, it has grown over the years to become the largest open-air art gallery in the Pacific Northwest. And yeah, now in most other major cities in the world, it's usually advised to avoid graffiti-covered alleyways due to banditry. But here in Boise, you don't have to worry because it's actually one of the safest cities in the U.S. Yeah, it has more of a liberal vibe, even though it's a conservative city. So yesterday, it's nice to be back in civilization again. No, bo pisze do tego, bo on stworzył Idaho Territory. By far, Boise's most iconic landmark is its state capitol building, and if it looks like you've seen it before, that's because the building can best be described as St. Peter's Basilica, London's St. Paul Cathedral, and the U.S. Capitol all rolled into one. And in addition, also combines Greek elements with a neoclassical facade sort of resembling that of a Greek temple, supported by Doric, Ionic, and Corinthian columns. And the Capitol was completed in 1912. In front of the Capitol stands the statue of Frank Steuenberg. He served as the 4th governor of Idaho from 1897 to 1901, and in late December of 1905, at the age of 44, he was killed by a bomb planted by a professional hitman due to his stance against labor unions. The monument was dedicated in 1927. Katedra katolicka jest dalej. And right behind the Capitol is the St. Michael's Episcopal Cathedral. The cathedral was founded in 1864 and constructed in 1900 on the site of the first Episcopal church in Idaho, and it's built in a Gothic revival style. A to library taka ładna? Tak? And behind me is the Church of St. John the Evangelist. The first Catholic church in Boise was dedicated here on Christmas Eve of 1870, but then burned in the fire just 2 weeks later. The present-day cathedral was completed in 1921 and built in a Romanesque revival style model after the great cathedrals of Mainz, Germany and Toulouse, France. And very funny. First time in the church being searched. Very funny. Nie no, ciekawe miasto. Wtedy tak nie chodziliśmy. Before the first church was built, the first Catholic Mass in Boise took place at the John O'Farrell cabin, the first home in Boise belonging to white settlers, constructed in 1863. At what was once the entrance to Fort Boise. Piątkę, szóstkę wiesz temu domu. Sacramento chyba ciekawszy trochę, bo ten downtown cały ma i fort. This is Boise's famous Julia Davis Park, no relation to the British actress slash comedian. It was actually named after Thomas Davis's wife. Thomas Davis was the man who donated land for this park in 1907, making it the oldest city park in Boise. He had it named in honor of his wife. And right here we have good old Honest Abe. You can see several statues of him around Boise. He's most synonymous with Illinois, but the reason there are so many of his statues here is because he was actually the one who created the Idaho Territory.
A tam jest Boise są przecież mormoni, którzy bardziej free, tacy, którzy po prostu nie podobają się teraz doktryny i dlatego są mormoni, ale już tacy bardziej, no, że mają...
Yeah, in addition to gold, the other thing that brought growth and development to Boise was the railroad, and behind me is the Boise train depot, constructed in 1925 in a Spanish style by two New York City architects. Just 2 years later, the Union Pacific Railroad had these ornate gardens built. these will look like this. About an hour south of Boise lie the Bruneau Dunes. Though not super known to the general population, the Bruneau Dunes are very well known in the geologic and geographer community due to their several unique characteristics. In addition to containing a large lake and the tallest single structured dune in North America, it is also the only dune system in the Americas that does not form from the edge of a natural basin, but rather from the center. The dunes are also a premier location for stargazing and even have a telescope open to the public. And we changed our plans last minute, and instead of heading to the Snake River, we're gonna head to the Sawtooth Mountains, which we haven't been to before. Look at all this.
To jest lawa tu, ale